What up people, welcome back to another video. In today's video we're going to be talking about the newly released 15-inch MacBook Air. Back in 2020, when Apple released the M1 chip, I quickly bought into the hype and purchased the MacBook Pro 13-inch to replace my custom PC that you see back there. While the PC took care of all of my needs, I always wanted something that carried the same amount of power in a smaller package. The 2 years with the M1 MacBook Pro has been a game changer for me. For those of you who have been watching my videos, you know that I am visually impaired, so I always desired more screen real estate without having to pay the price for the high-end 16-inch MacBook Pro. When Apple released a 15-inch MacBook Air earlier this week, I had to definitely get one, so in this video I want to determine if I found the perfect, affordable content creation laptop and how it compares to my M1 MacBook Pro. When it comes to size, while 2 inches doesn't sound like a lot, it actually makes a big difference in screen real estate, and so if you're looking for something bigger but don't want to pay the price for the 16-inch MacBook Pro, this certainly checks off the box. The configuration that I went with was the base MacBook Air with the 8-core CPU, 10-core GPU, 8GB of RAM, and 256GB of SSD storage. I'll explain why I got this configuration in a minute. What makes a computer perfect for content creation is one that has a calibrated display, a wide color gamut, great battery life, and good internal performance to save us times in exports and rendering. The display is 15.3 inches diagonally. It's an IPS display with a pixel density of 224 pixels per inch, and it's a 10-bit display perfectly calibrated out of the factory. When editing on a display like this, you can ensure that your colors will be super vibrant and accurate, and it goes up to 500 nits of brightness, which is more than enough for editing. However, it's only 60 Hz, it's not mini LED or OLED, so in this category, it only gets an A-. When it comes to battery life, Apple rates this at the same 18 hours of battery life as the 13-inch MacBook Air. So while we're hoping for a bigger battery, because of the bigger chassis, the bigger display cancels it out. All of that being said, the battery life on any Apple Silicon laptop is greater than anything you'll get in a Windows PC, so I still award it full marks in this category because you can easily get a whole day of medium to heavy work done all on battery, so I give it an A+. Now let's talk performance. Starting out with Geekbench 6, the M2 chip in the MacBook Air scored a respectable 2,632 in the single-core test and 9,968 in the multi-core test. On the MacBook Pro, it scored 2,391 in the single-core test and 8,737 in the multi-core, which represents about a 14% increase in performance. Personally, I don't see that translating into a real-world significant difference in performance between both laptops. With Capture One, which is really optimized for Apple Silicon, when I exported 305 medium format RAW files from the Fuji GFX into JPEGs, it took about 14 minutes and 10 seconds on the 15-inch MacBook Air versus 19 minutes on the 13-inch MacBook Pro. A 5-minute difference is significant, so the new MacBook is starting off very strong. In Lightroom Classic, which still remains the most popular photo editing suite for photographers, the new MacBook Air took 24 minutes and 9 seconds to export those 305 RAW files into JPEGs, while the M1 MacBook Pro took 24 minutes and 57 seconds. Clearly, Lightroom is not as optimized as Capture One is for the new M2 chip. In DaVinci Resolve, which is another optimized application, I exported a 14-minute 4K 10-bit H.265 video. The 15-inch MacBook Air took 10 minutes and 47 seconds to export the video, while the M1 MacBook Pro took 14 minutes and 7 seconds. So what we've learned thus far is that so long as the application is optimized, it sounds like this 15-inch MacBook Air has all the great markers of a great content creation laptop, right? It has a great display, good battery life, and good performance in optimized applications. So, should you go to your nearest Apple store and purchase one of these laptops? Well, it's complicated. If you're a casual user or a student, immediately buy this laptop if you want the bigger screen, especially with the educational discount. If you do any form of content creation, I sadly cannot recommend this laptop, and here's why. The first problem is actually storage. The base model comes with a 256GB SSD, and as you can see from the graphs here, it's much slower than the one found in the M1 MacBook Pro. While this may not impact you day to day, if you're a content creator who moves a lot of photo and video files between your computer, SD cards, and storage devices, you will notice a significant difference. The second problem is the amount of RAM that comes in the base model of this computer. While the unified memory in Apple Silicon is extremely fast, because this memory is shared between the CPU and the GPU, 8 GB is simply not enough. To give you an example, just opening one application, in this case Capture One, already used up 7 out of the 8 available gigs of RAM, and this is before any sort of editing has begun and there's no other application open. The 8 gigs of RAM will significantly impact your ability to multitask, and you experience slowdowns with this laptop as the CPU tries to offload some of the data from the RAM into the SSD, also known as swapping memory. Combined with a slower SSD, you'll feel this difference. You may naturally say to yourself that you could solve both of these issues by just opting for more RAM and more SSD, right? Well, that highlights the third major issue with this laptop, which is its price. If you're a content creator and you heed my advice, you're most likely going to opt for more RAM and a bigger SSD, and at that point, when you look at the price, you're only a couple $100 away from the price of a brand new 14-inch MacBook Pro, which is significantly more powerful in every way. It comes with better I/O such as an SD card reader, additional Thunderbolt ports, and an HDMI port. Now, if you go the Apple refurbished route, you can even get a 14-inch MacBook Pro with the M1 Pro chip from last year for an even cheaper price, if not the same price. And that laptop will still be significantly more powerful than this 15-inch MacBook Air. It comes with a mini LED display with ProMotion in addition to all the other things that I listed above. So in conclusion, while this laptop looks fantastic and has a certain place for certain individuals, I would highly recommend that if you want a laptop for any sort of content creation, be it video editing or photo editing, I would strongly encourage you to buy the M1 or M2 14-inch MacBook Pro. You'll thank yourself that you listened. So thank you for watching this video. If you appreciate it, please leave a like below and let me know in the comments if you want me to compare this laptop to my M1 Max Mac Studio from 2022. Now, you gotta let me know really quickly because personally, while this laptop looks great and has that bigger display that I really wanted, I can't justify it for price to performance for a content creator. It just doesn't make sense for me. I'd be much better off going with the 14-inch MacBook Pro, so I'm going to be returning this soon. So once again, if you want to see that comparison between this laptop and the Mac Studio from last year, please let me know in the comments below. Till then, have a good day.